We need to be able to collaborate more.
Because what we have right now isn't working all that well, to be honest. There are far too many gaps between provinces, within provinces, and families that are falling into those gaps. I honestly believe that Canada can do so much better than this.
I think having a national eating disorder strategy will really make people wake up as to how many people are suffering and how few people are able to actually access help.
We need a short-term crisis plan right now and a long-term wherein the national strategy would develop. But a national strategy right now is not going to help me if I can't get in the door for treatment today. So what do we do for the people today that are at risk of dying?
And they're not just the access barriers that individuals who are suffering face, but the barriers between professionals working in the field. We need to be able to collaborate more, and I think a national strategy would allow us to do that.
Everybody in their isolation in the different provinces are trying to do something, but if we all come together as a nation and look at it not just provincially or area-wise, I think we have a much better chance of making major progress.
And quite frankly, this should have happened years ago. And the fact that people are working so diligently now to make it happen and there's momentum, we can't let that drop. We need to have this now.
We could really propel forward in a unified way.
It has to be specific and concrete and measurable.
I'm hoping that a national eating disorder strategy will be an agreed upon set of recommendations, of directions, of ideas about treatment, about our understanding of eating disorders, about the research that needs to continue to happen.
So we're looking at things like wait time, standards of care, first-person involvement, research, education for family doctors, for providers. It has to be comprehensive, it has to be measurable, and it has to be achievable.
And we really do need to break down silos between everybody working in the field, but we also need to sort of really be mindful of who's doing what, who can we send people to, where are things being done and done well, and let's not replicate that.
You know, there's national programs for so many other, the kidney issues, diabetes, cancer, all of these are very serious illnesses, and they have a national strategy and a national approach to them, but eating disorders doesn't. So if it was looked upon as a national organization or a national strategy, I think the politicians would listen a whole lot more.
There are two important things. The first important thing is what help legitimize these conditions as important medical psychological illnesses that deserve care and deserve attention. And secondly, perhaps most importantly, it will set standards against which the behavior of provincial governments can be judged.
We could really propel forward in a unified way to create some enormous change. Right now, it's almost as if we're not even in the same race. There's so much disconnection. There's so few people understanding what's happening across the provinces.
If we can not just focus on internal collaborations, but also reaching out and working with other groups who have passions around, the disorders that they treat, that will be able to accomplish a lot more, because at the heart of it, there are commonalities.
Hopefully, the provincial and certainly the federal government will come to understand that here are people working, probably volunteering to put this together to make a strategy come to fruition. And I think that alone will just raise the bar and also get us onto all the mental health radars where right now we tend to be ignored.
People have to stand up and say, enough.
And if we're going to get to the other side of this, when we create a national strategy, it's essential that we collaborate and give equal value to all the players, all the stakeholders who are in the world of eating disorders.
And I think in particular, people with a lived experience or family members who've seen someone suffer with an eating disorder, they need to start sharing their stories. For far too many of us, we've been held back by shame and stigma. And by keeping the eating disorder a secret, we actually allow the public to continue with its misconceptions about eating disorders.
People have to stand up and say, enough. We've had enough. we demand the same level of care for our daughters, for our sons, for our family members as people with any other significant medical illness where there is significant mortality and terrible suffering. That's what it's going to take.